Just us, Ron?
Yeah, it sounds like they're having technical difficulties. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, I hear you.
Okay.
They're at Creator Zone today, I think. So is that probably why they're struggling?
Yeah, I don't know. I just texted Gary and I said technical difficulties, and he said yes. So, well, I'll wait around for 10, 15 more minutes. If they're get us on, they get us on.
Yeah.
How you been?
Oh, pretty good. Just like, I don't know if you went through this when your girls were young, because my parents weren't like this, but you know, sometimes you sign your kids up for too much stuff.
Oh yeah.
And so it's like, I'm, you know, always having to stare at the calendar and make sure I'm not missing anything that we signed up for.
Oh yes. Yeah, they're wait till they get in, if they get into sports and all that, and then they're playing at the same time.
Yeah, I know. I'm dreading it, especially with.
And then you and Chad you guys are split up going different directions. That was always the fun. I mean, it's always fun watching the kids do that stuff, but it's tiring.
Yes, yeah. Well, even just now, like this month, I mean, they're low level, so it like doesn't, you know, it's not like high competition stakes or anything, but they're both in soccer for the first time. And so,
Oh, cool.
yeah, and it is neat, but
Yep.
I'm, you know, it falls on me because of Chad's hours that he works. And so,
Oh yeah.
and I signed up to assistant coach both teams, but on members team, well, which assistant coach is like low responsibility. I can skip the practice if I need to or something, you know,
Yeah.
not a big deal. But with Ember's team, they didn't have enough coaches, period. So I ended up, so now I'm the head coach.
Oh wow. Well, that sounds like a good job for Grandpa Jeff.
Oh man, he barely had the patience when I was a kid. I don't know if he had.
Yeah. He's probably calmed down a little bit since then.
Yeah, hopefully.
Looks like we're getting going here.
I'm still not seeing anything.
Oh, I see Lloyd Student Rotary Club popping up.
Oh, here we go.
Or we could just, you know, plan it for next year, 100%, have like 2 teams. Brian said compete against each other.
6 miles.
6 miles.
That's it, 6 miles. Coming in for the first time.
So Connor and I will do it, Connor and by each other, that's.
Okay.
That's
We support that.
Yeah, more than 2/3 from the, yeah, okay.
Right.
Well, okay. Yeah. So also. I'm just kidding.
Kind of watching the football game, it's black. So we're having technical difficulties getting on to Zoom to find out if there's other.
There are other.
There, but everything is.
I'm here.
Figured on this machine for some reason.
Andrew's here.
Couldn't get in either, so I think they only blocked a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm expecting for our speaker here in a few minutes, we want to keep our reports really short, give her plenty of time.
You know, there's a simple solution. Hey, Gary.
Yeah.
You grab that cord over there. The big black one. This one? No, well, this one here. Okay, let's talk about birthdays. We've got 2 of them this week. We've got Kendra, her birthday, and Marcus Tangen. So happy birthday to everybody. And then James.
Yes,
I think you've got an anniversary, you and Angie?
we did.
Yeah, well, it's kind of in this week.
It is this week. Yes, thank you, sir.
Yeah, well, happy anniversary. As far as Rotary anniversaries, looks like zip. I think we're all, not this week. All right, Can we have a treasurer's report?
The bank accounts are down pretty low at this point. If anybody can see their dues, that's great. That hasn't already. Anyway,
You got
that
it.
would be nice. And other than that, we're doing fine. The scholarships have all been paid. About half of them have cleared the bank, so we're still waiting for their half, but.
Did we have an inspirational quote from Eileen?
We did not.
Yeah, do you have time for that?
No, we don't have it.
Okay.
We don't.
Well, I have one, and then you, hang on one second, have it just a second. Focus on the step in front of you and not the entire staircase.
I feel like I've been doing that this morning.
That's true, though. You'd be surprised how far you can get if you just one step at a time.
Well, the next step never looks as ominous as the whole journey, so
That is very true.
good luck. All right. Yeah, I'm sorry I missed you. Gary,
Technical difficulty. The only thing is, a couple things, Rotary Board meeting on this Tuesday at Don's place. And then the only other thing is next week, we are at Creator Zone. So don't come here, go to Creator Zone.
that's the idea.
And you might find Lori's husband staying overnight there. You never know.
Explain that, just,
So,
not.
yeah, Mike's been volunteering there and it's supposed to be 1 day a week, but evidently it's 1 day a week at home.
oh,
So he's been building tables and building out the workshop and stuff.
So I was going to get home for the
Yep.
metal building.
Yep.
Very good.
yeah, that's great. Let's see, we got Ron. I think we've got speakers. Why don't you give us a president-elect report if you can, please?
Can you hear me?
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
thank God.
All right. So real quick, September 30th is coming around the corner pretty quick. So that's our auction night. So we had a kind of a kickoff small meeting at our fireside the other night. So just want to let everybody know, reminder to start bringing your 2 bottles of beer and bottles of wine. Start thinking of your auction basket. Tracy was going to bring a couple examples today, but she had a wedding that she had to go to, so she'll bring those next week. So auction baskets, if you have any trips in mind that you can get, vacation houses, any big items you want to auction off, that'd be great. Continue to start gathering sponsors. And then start thinking, you'll see probably a schedule coming out soon. Day of event, we'll need lots of people hands-on to set up, tear down servers. People have already stepped up to volunteer to do that. So we'll get that list out here shortly. I am fortunately gone for a couple of weeks, so it'll be per virtual. I can't even talk today. Per virtual and email. So thank you. That's all I got.
Do we have kind of a list of committee assignments that where we have people like Connor and Amy did last year and maybe this year working the bar and that type of thing, so we have other go-to people?
Working on that right now.
Okay.
That'll be in the list of the notes from the meeting.
Okay, and I do have more of these wonderful sponsorship forms. If anybody wants one, let's keep going along that line. All right, Brian, there he is. Pub service. All right, excuse me. Community service.
I sent out an email, sent out a couple of emails. Creator Zone is doing their mural. They need help painting the mural. So there's a link in the email I sent for you to be able to sign up. So you can go to the sign up page. It's on the 13th. And I believe it's gonna be, they're gonna kind of stencil it out and we're gonna fill in some spots.
It's beyond the lines.
Yeah, you bring watercolors and crayons, but, so we have that, then we have farmer's market next week. In September, it's gonna be a little different because now, we have the ping pong ball deal, so it's gonna be a little more interaction, so. So just be ready for that. It would be nice, actually, I would probably would change that. So if we can get 3 people per field, when Rand and I were out there, 2 of us talking and hitting ping pong balls, we were able to kind of funnel them in, and then Gary was sitting at the table and kind of talk to him. So I think that was really good. So I'll add to that. So if we get 3 people each shift, and then the triathlon, we've been asked to help direct again, kind of like what we did last year. So it's pretty simple. You just stand there and make sure people don't go down the wrong road. And they had to give us money. I'm not sure exactly how many people they need yet, but the more the merrier. They'll figure out a place for us.
What's the date?
Then 8, I believe it was.
9.
9? Yeah. 8 and 9.
Saturday
So-
night.
Saturday night.
Saturday the 9th.
Oh, I meant to say Saturday night. I was like, oh, something. Like a night triathlon, swimming in the dark.
Bring your flashlight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So, yeah, so that's it right now.
Eileen, do you have anything for club services?
Just that we have a fireside for October 18th at Rustic Fork. And if anybody knows anybody who needs a card or support, please let me know.
Okay, thank you. And then foundation, Rashad,
No report. Anyone else?
okay. And Linda? Excellent people here. This is really a good turnout. Wow. And none up there. Kyle for membership is. Okay, not here. Vocational. Kristen.
Josie arrived safely. You can follow her on Instagram on Josie to Norway, and the rain is not as bad as it sounds. Some places are hurt worse, but Oslo is fine. She stayed at 2 different houses. She's going to her host family tonight, so she was going to try to get on, but she was moving, so she wasn't quite sure she could wait. But hopefully next week she can join in from there.
Yeah,
Awesome.
Very cool.
that'd be great.
She is with her people,
With her Rotary counselor.
with her Rotary counselor.
What a cute.
Kendra. Do you have anything on programs?
Nothing new, all's looking good. I don't know if anyone saw, but we have Congresswoman Delvine coming in. I believe it is in September. I think it's the 2nd Friday in September. So that should be exciting.
Nice.
And happy birthday to Kendra, because happy birthday. And we wish her.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
I don't
Thank
know
you.
if we
It's,
were on the air yet, so yeah, happy birthday.
oh no, I heard. Yeah, it's my 21st. So yeah.
That's a fine.
Yeah, I'm going to be forever 21, I think.
Little technicality.
Oh.
Well, we might not be able to share ourselves here. Where's the IT guy when we need him? Okay, public image, Fran.
Hey, we're working on cool stuff. And you'll see more of it in the coming weeks.
All right, that'd be great. We sure saw some cool stuff already. That was really, really well appreciated, the big screen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right, well, Sergeant, shall we do?
Hopefully everybody has their tickets. Oh, how much? There we go. I'm gonna have our guest, Rotarian, draw the winning number. Has to be the red ticket, please. Read the last three numbers nice and loud.
Alrighty.
Wrong one.
988.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
988.
run.
There you go.
I was right after you.
Stolen election. And you do get a consolation prize, sir. Thank you very much. All right. Thank you all for participating. Smart.
Thought there was no copy there.
Right, good deal. All right, let's see. We're all happy today, right?
I think we're pretty happy.
Tell us.
I have two, my next house guests are here and they're from Texas. And so we'll be touring around the countryside for the next 4 days. Going up to San Juan Island and we'll be seeing Kendra for a little walk in the forest here on Sunday.
All right.
Yeah.
What part of Texas?
Austin.
Because that'll come up. No doubt. All right.
Yeah.
Mr. Ron, are you happy?
Yes, happy.
Good deal. Ms. Kendra?
Yeah, pretty happy.
Yeah.
Happy it's Friday and there's been a big walking giant check for Perkins.
We had a good time at the Lake Stevens Film Festival and popped a lot of pop.
How many people do they have, do you think?
I don't know, how many people?
500.
Yeah, 500. Oh, like 100 people. More.
I just lied. I didn't lie.
It's a good number.
Okay, it was about 30.
Oh, it's more than
It's
that.
more than
Okay,
that.
32.
75, I mean, I don't know.
I like her.
In and out.
Not exaggerate.
500. Oh, yeah.
For a while, I visited Rotary. My robot at home is mowing my lawn.
Okay.
It should be just about done.
You also have a robot to mow the floor inside?
I gave that one away. I'm sorry, I didn't.
Her name is Lori.
And a robot get you here today?
Oh, yes. The test might not be good.
That's pretty expensive, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm happy I own it.
Good deal.
I'm happy for a number of reasons. One is the 4-way test, because when I talked to Sam and said, hey, I'd like to join you, visit your Rotary Club. He didn't know I'd forget my wallet at home. So that's actually saying I was happy about that. But Lauren left the Everett Club the year before I joined. So I joined in '93, so it was maybe like a baton, so I've been in there for 30 years. Jim bailed from there.
Because we're the fun ones.
You're the fun club, that's what South Everett Muckle Teo says. I mean,
Well.
They say they're the fun club?
Yeah,
No, we're the fun club.
I do not. Lauren and Ralph Quas in our club. Ralph still has perfect attendance. But anyways, a pleasure to meet you. I retired from city council and the school district and joined Coastal. A lot of you know Melissa Hemrich. And so she's teaching me to be a banker. And they pay me to go out and visit like this, which is a really cool job. So but I joined Coastal just because in what I did before, it's all about reinvesting in your local communities, and your local banks and just like that, so.
That gives more than Coastal. You guys.
For their employees.
I'm starting to say we now, I just
Say it.
today, but it's, I mean, I've watched it grow and thanks for that, it's just, it's fun to work for a purpose that's helping our community, so thank you. Do I owe more money? Because-
Yes, I got it.
Yeah, that was-
So I have a happy 5, found out that we might have a special session to fix some boundaries with the state. Headed to Indianapolis on Sunday. And then part of that is for Chris. Thank you for all your help with that, and
Yeah.
the most incredible. One of the most incredible things is a lot of people were complaining about the carnival and everything else, and he got out there on social media, just really let the community know what's going on, and it was really, I was very proud of your public side. It's better than I could have done, so great job.
Appreciate that.
So boundary issues, like, are we gonna do a hostile takeover of part of Idaho or?
So over in Yakima, the 15th legislative district, they said it wasn't drawn properly to represent the minority community. So they're gonna have to readjust that
Okay.
a few years after they've already done it. So it's gonna be interesting.
Well, that'll be good. Jim?
Good morning. Happy to be here.
Yes, I can see it.
So film festival was amazing and I misspoke. I thought Jim was talking about the movie in the park. That was low attendance, but the film festival is right up there with my most favorite event in town. You guys haven't been. It was my first one ever in the history of the world and it was super cool. The people there were really genuine and creative, and a lot of the directors and all the things, and then the community supporters. The movies were all great. And we popped a ton of popcorn. Creamery was there, their stuff, and it was really great. So I encourage you, if you're a sponsor, you know, business in town, they're going to be looking for sponsors again. I sponsored, not really knowing what the benefits were, and they did a fabulous job putting my name everywhere and shout outs. I was on the background for the photos. It was a super cool event. So if you have a business, it's well worth your marketing dollars.
They had the Rotary Club over.
Yeah, on the back, Rotary was everywhere. They were a sponsor, and Brand was a sponsor, and but I was really impressed with the effort for the sponsors, because I mean, I didn't sponsor for that reason, right? But it was a nice surprise to see that I was getting value from my marketing dollars.
There's a great live broadcast Saturday morning on Facebook.
Yes, you did yeah, that's super cool. It was everybody working together and just a super cool community event. So I encourage you guys to go next year
Okay.
and sponsor. I'll just do Happy Friday, so move it along.
So, got to see my little grandson last weekend. And he's not quite to the solid food stage yet, but it's gonna be there soon. So I went out in the garden, I harvested peas and carrots. And within an hour, they were pushed together and in the freezer. And so I've got little food pucks for him. So making homemade baby foods, but so anybody who doesn't know, this is my dad. So when I talk about him, so my sister Carrie was complaining the other day because they had to buy a robot lawnmower because of dad. And now they bought a Tesla just the other day, so they're kind of wondering what dad will talk about.
That's exciting.
Or can you on that?
Yeah.
Cost money.
Yeah, I know. Josie is living her best life, and I'm really excited, and it's going to be my last in-person Rotary meeting for a while. That was full time.
Is it really? Don't remind me.
No.
And the men of the house, are they adjusting to being Josie was?
Kind of. We do get to talk to her all the time. So modern technology is amazing.
Lance.
Feeling a little tired today, but I'm always happy.
Happy Friday.
All right. Yeah, for the festival, did the reception and kind of cool hearing Chris about it. And then another one for the Hawks and game last night. Yeah, really good.
All right, I'm happy to know that I actually put more money in this community than Chris Pratt. So I'm not upset. No, it's your money.
See, there.
But I appropriated it. Right.
Should make a video like.
As you heard from Sam, the maps were thrown out from the federal court, so it's good to know that I was right and the legislature was wrong. Eater. And it's not my problem, so it's great. I can say that. And then the other thing is, War College sucks. I'm spending all my time doing homework. My car's AC went out again, so now it's in the shop. But you know what? Life's good. I like being here.
Glad you're here.
Yeah.
Hopefully there aren't any other Steves, because if there are, they're on the table.
Since I've been going here, I've been wanting to figure out how to do Venmo.
Yeah.
So I thought my wife or my son would help me, but this morning I went on, I loaded it. And I was feeling pretty good because I donated it. And then I found out you only have to be 4 years old in order to do that.
That's Friday, and this club is really rocking and rolling because of all that's here, and I appreciate it for all everybody else. All right.
Well, I'm happy I'm only 3 years old, so I don't have to do them.
I'm super happy to be here, and we've been remodeling our house for the past like almost 4 months, and we've been sleeping in it the past 3 nights, so that feels really good. And I'm excited for our blood drive today, and I was just thinking how many more spots we have, and I think we have them almost all filled. So I think we should be proud that we're being on this event and helping save so many lives, and we only have one appointment remaining.
What's that?
It is available at, I don't know. Say,
While she's looking.
All right, so I don't know how to necessarily address this, but we had a celebration of life yesterday for Lake Stevens student who took her life. She's 14 years old, Gianna Brown. You know, it's talk to the family, and you know, their goal is just to really focus on the positive aspects. This is a kiddo that, you know, nothing was on the radar. As teachers, as people have been involved in her life for years. You know, she ran track for me, had her in the classroom. Awesome kid. Played soccer, and there were yesterday I came early, I felt like, and the at Life Point Church, the parking lot was packed. You know, seeing so many former students at the service afterwards was really humbling. And it's one of those where, you know, if only you could see the impact that you make. But yeah, it's a beautiful celebration of life yesterday, and service for Gianna. On an entirely separate note, though, just got back from Baja visiting Kirsten and Jim's place. As a matter of fact, Russ Gerhardt, the lead pastor at Life Point, grew up in Baja. His sister was valedictorian of Waianae High School. But yeah, so small world, but yeah, I guess it's, you know, don't take the little things for granted in life. Enjoy every moment. Yeah, and I look forward to bidding on you to play again this.
Without competition. Chris?
Okay, well, this Friday, obviously. For that, I'm taking my team out to our monthly lunch at the Trainwreck Cafe, which is a great place in Burlington, so happy to do that. I'm getting blood at 2:15, and I'm getting a haircut at 3:30, so 4:30, so it's a very nice happy day.
Happy and appreciated the thought of the day on steps. 4 years ago, I climbed to the top of the Vatican, to the top of St. Peter's Basilica in Vatican. It's about a 25-story height. It was 99 degrees outside. It was 99% humidity. And all I could think about every step was the next step. Other than that, it was right on the point.
All right, I'm kind of happy. I took my car in for an oil change yesterday, preparing for a road trip, and drain plug is stripped out and $2,000 to replace.
In that.
It is.
For a drain plug.
I know, they were over wrench it.
Yeah, they probably did it.
This is
It happened a couple of years ago. I did a temporary.
This is for all of the work that went on for Aquafest and Film Festival, Farmers Market and such. And the other one's kind of a sad note for the people of Maui. I have a nephew over there that is the manager of the restaurant section of the Westin Hotel. And fortunately, about 6 months ago, he moved from Lahaina, about 45 minutes away. And he and his wife, he and his girlfriend, both work over there, but they have no idea when they'll be able to go back to work. Everything is just kind of chaotic, as we know.
So I'm also giving blood this morning, as well as my wife Angie. We have a great community. Thanks for everybody's involvement. And this is for the folks in Maui.
I am happy, but could be happier. I had a lot of friends and family that lost their home in Maui. So our heart is out to Maui right now. Last weekend, we had a successful weekend. We're getting ready for our event in October. It's a Hawaiian event, so I'm sorry you all weren't invited, but we had a little Hawaiian get together at my house last week, so that was great. And I'm just happy because I was so many grandbabies to this.
I'm very happy because none of my family survived the fire in Lahaina. I have a nephew that had a charter boat, and he was lucky enough to put his family and 3 other families on his boat. And they're in Kahului right now. They're safe, but they lost everything. So my family, the extended family in Kahului is helping the 3 families plus my nephew and his son. So I thank the Lord that they're alive. Homes you can build, but lives you can build. So I thank you. That's what I'm happy about. Thank you.
Pretty interesting stuff going on over there. Incredible thing. All right. Laura Lee.
Oh. Well, y'all are a lively bunch. 7:30 in the morning. My name is Lori Lee Gomez. I'm the marketing specialist for Snohomish County CASA. So we are, that's me right there. We are located in Everett. But we represent Snohomish County. So I'm just going to talk about what CASA is, what we do, what we look for, and how to become a volunteer. This will be an overview of the program and an introduction. So our mission is to recruit, train, and support quality volunteer advocates for the best interests of abused, neglected, and abandoned children. We have a vision that every child who needs a voice has a CASA to advocate for the best interest of forever home and a brighter future. So Snohomish County CASA was founded in 1978. So now we are celebrating our 45th year. We did have an open house as well as a award ceremony for our volunteers yesterday at our new office. And so lost my voice from that. So we are now located on Wetmore Avenue. We still have our location on at the Denny Juvenile Justice Center, but we took that space and we're creating a sensory room for children, for the parents to reunite with their children in that area, as well as when they have hearings, the children can go upstairs and have a place to feel safe and comfortable while the hearing is going on. And we will have an attendee there as well if their social worker or parent is not available to be with them. All right, so CASA was created in 1975 by the Honorable David Soka. He was a juvenile court judge in King County, Washington. So he was concerned that he did not have enough information, and particularly child-centered information, to make decisions in the case of children before him. So it particularly was from a case involving a 3-year-old child who was brought to the hospital with significant injuries. The mother stated that the daughter fell off the swings, then proceeded to say that the boyfriend left her home and would never come back, which was very confusing. So Judge Sokup had to make that decision of taking the 3-year-old child out of the only home that she's ever known, or if he should to return her home, would she be in danger if he did? He looked around the court and realized there was no one there that could speak up for the child. He then thought maybe that if he could get volunteers, train them, and then ask them to represent these kids in court and get a lawyer to represent the volunteers, they would become a party to that action representing that child. He then asked his bailiff to call a few people in the community and explain this idea and to come to juvenile court to talk about it. And then the next day, he showed up to court and there were 50 people there to volunteer. Then he realized that's when this program would work. So what is CASA? So CASA, Court Appointed Special Advocate, is a volunteer who is specially trained member of the community who becomes a sworn officer of the court and advocates for the best interests of a child or youth who has been experiencing abuse or neglect and has been removed from their home. So CASA is a volunteer, which eliminates any agendas except focusing on the best interests of the child, since every member of the team are most likely paid to be there. The CASA takes an oath to be candid and truthful with the court. And as a sworn officer of the court, the CASA has access to all these files from the court and school and healthcare. So what does a CASA do? So what we do is informed by the RCWs, which is the Revised Code of Washington, which is a compilation of all the permanent laws now in force. So the first thing is the CASA learn all they can about the child and their family and life. They engage. So engage with the child during regular visits. They visit with the child or youth assigned to them at least once a month and gradually establish a trusting relationship with the youth. And then they model a healthy relationship, and showing up also means a lot to that child. They recommend, so they speak up for the child's best interest in court, make recommendations regarding the child's placement and needed services, and monitors the child's situation until the case is released by the court. They collaborate. So they collaborate or interview with others to ensure that necessary services are provided and are in the child's best interest. So the social workers, teachers, service providers, medical providers. They also are collaborating and communicating with their program coordinator. And then they report. They report what they have learned and observed to the court. So they're an expert eyewitness of some sort. And then they can appear in person or virtual. So most of our hearings now are virtual for our CASA. They don't necessarily have to go into court unless they choose to. And so all of these all satisfy the RCWs. So who does Snohomish County serve? So dependent children from birth to 18 years of age who've experienced abuse or neglect. So dependent children are defined as those who are under 18 of age, have no parent willing or able to care for them, or who are abandoned, abused, or neglected and under the care of the Department of Children, Youth, and Families, or DCYF. Increasing number of children remain in their home with supportive services and court supervision. So there are currently over 90 active volunteers serving over 150 children. As of June 2023, there are about 100 children with no CASA in Snohomish County. And our goal is to double that capacity. Youth may remain in foster care until the age of 21, only because if they have a disability that they cannot make those choices on their own, they might still be in some sort of care. And by advocating for an abused or neglected child, you give a child a voice and a chance for a better life. Okay, so what is dependency? So what they do is they give a voice for the child in court, and that is generally the dependency process. So this is a really great visual for the dependency process and the path to permanency. So it starts with a CPS referral or dependency petition. When a CPS receives referrals from citizens, police, or professionals, they assess the risk factors and will decide whether the child should be removed from their home and if dependency petition should be filed. So DCYF uses the dependency petition to formally recommend to the court that the child be declared dependent due to abandonment, abuse, neglect, or absence of someone capable of adequately caring for that child. And then next, it goes into shelter care. So an initial shelter care hearing must be held within 72 hours of the removal of the child to determine if initial removal was reasonable or whether the child can be returned to the parent. And so CASA involvement is usually rare in this early life of the case. So we generally will wait until the child is completely removed from their home and placed in another home away from the parents. So dependency is then established. So a dependency preliminary hearing provides parents an opportunity to agree to dependency. If dependency is not agreed to at the preliminary, a full trial is held at a future date with witnesses and evidence presented. And if the allegations from the dependency petition are agreed to by the parents, proven at the trial, or the parents are found in default, an order of dependency is filed by the court. And then this order will include initial services that are recommendations for parents, visitation guidelines, as well as direction on placement for the child. And if dependency is not established, the case is dismissed and the child does return home. So then it's the review hearing. So hearings are held every 6 months, alternating between dependency and permanency planning reviews. So full CASA reports are required with the recommendations on progress, compliance for both hearings, and a permanent plan for permanency planning review. The permanency planning hearing addresses the permanency plan for the child, in addition to compliance and progress with the court-ordered services. And then there are 3 paths to permanency. So there's the reunification with the parents, adoption, or guardianship. And then the dependency process continues. At least one permanency path will be designated as a primary, and then others can also be pursued at the same time. I know it's kind of like slow, but we'll get there. So this is the journey of David and Nate, so that you have an idea of what it would look like with a CASA on a case. So a child in foster care and his assigned CASA. So following a CPS investigation, family court orders David's removal from his family home, and then he is placed in foster care. So the family court judge appoints CASA. So the CASA program assigns Nate to David's case. And then decision about which cases to appoint CASA to lies with the judge, which are generally more complex cases. Appointments may not happen until a case has been before the court for months or even a year or two. Judges see CASA as an additional resource to help wade through the difficult cases to resolve. And when the judge opts to appoint a CASA, the court issues an order appointing a CASA volunteer. All right, so Nate meets David and is a consistent presence, working with all the parties involved in David's case. So first meetings can be really challenging. They are generally short. The CASA begins to work with the child's team, their care team, which includes the Department of Social Services, the child's attorney, therapists, possibly teachers. And then this process allows the CASA to get to know the child from everyone's perspective. So Nate teaches or reaches out to David's parents, extended family, foster parents, and David's Department of Social Services caseworker as much as possible, and then communicates with them. So ongoing communication whenever is possible is key. Sometimes people won't communicate. They do tend to shut down, but our CASA will work pretty diligently in order to get all the information needed from their case. So this is including, there's sometimes where parents may not want to speak with our CASAs, or the attorneys ask them not to. So there's always that barrier, and our CASAs have to look at other ways to getting all the information needed. So together they identify David's physical, emotional, and educational resources to help him and his parents heal. So CASA's advocacy is a balance of autonomy and of personal initiative, and it's balanced with collaboration and teamwork. And it does vary from case to case. As the CASA develops a full picture of the child, the CASA uses best interest advocacy to identify any unmet needs. So Nate meets with David every month and shares information with the judge and everyone involved with the case. So after the CASA identifies any unmet needs, they collaborate with the child care team to ensure that those needs are met and provide those reports to the court. The primary vehicle for communication and information sharing is the court report. So, but there should be a lot of informal communication and information sharing with others involved in the case throughout the CASA's assignment. So that report is actually the biggest part to making sure that the child is well, the judge has that information to make that decision for that child. David's team focuses on building, pressing the laser now. David's team focuses on building and strengthening a network of support around David and his parents. Nate, with the help of CASA program staff, writes periodic reports to the court. So the CASA will work on the report in collaboration with their program coordinator. And we want to move children towards permanency without unnecessary delay. We also want to make sure that they have the services, so therapeutic, educational, social, health, and dental, to heal from the neglect and trauma. So Nate continues to advocate for David and stay by his side throughout the case, advocating for David to be reunited with his parents. If reunification is not safe or possible, Nate will advocate for David to be adopted by or live with other relatives or family friends. If that is also not possible, Nate will work towards adoption by a non-relative. Staying with it and being consistent is always key. Kids and families have enough disappointments and departures from their lives. Consistency builds trust, which is like currency through all those tough moments. And then reunification is always the primary goal, but we have to think about working towards other options for permanency if reunification is not possible or possible within that reasonable time frame. All right, so regardless of the outcome, Nate will keep in contact with the support network until the case closes so that everyone continues to put David's best interests first. So relationship-based advocacy and consistency leads to the best interest. So, relationship-based advocacy. So developing a relationship that is focused on the young person based on where the youth is in their life and what their interests are. Speaking to a young person's best interests. So you're getting to know the youth often better than anyone else involved in their case, so you can help them leverage their strengths and weaknesses. Developmentally, young people may be uninterested at first, but requires establishing good boundaries. You are not a caseworker or the attorney for the child. So you're advocating for that child's best interest. You make sure things don't fall through the cracks with a lot of the social workers, because we tend to be compared to the social workers. Social workers do get rotated quite a bit. So with our CASAs, they do have to stay on through the life of the case. So with the social workers, with their reports, if a social worker makes a report, the next one may not quite understand what that report looks like, what they're trying to state in the report. And then there's another social worker that might come in. And so a lot of things do tend to fall through the cracks. But with our CASAs, it's always consistent just because it's the same person the entire case. And then so you can be a positive presence in the child's life, but you are definitely not a mentor. This is not the Boys and Girls Club. We are just trying to make sure that we're just working on their best interests and making sure all their needs are being met. So why CASA? So children who have experienced abuse or neglect fare better with a CASA volunteer by their side. Studies have shown that they are more likely to find a permanent and safe home, more likely to succeed in school, and less likely to re-enter the foster care system. So you have to be 21, at least 21 years old to be a CASA, just because they are sworn officers of the court. You must complete a comprehensive background check. And then you have to commit to 30-hour pre-service training, commit to the life of the case, like I mentioned before. There's 12 hours of continuing education. You have to have reliable transportation, and we don't require any experience in child welfare. And then what's excluded is current foster parents with placement and court employees. As far as the life of the case, or the average time that a volunteer works for CASA is about 5 to 10 hours a month, and a lot of it is just making phone calls. Like I said, the hearings are through Zoom. The only time that the only thing we ask of you is actually to go visit the child once a month and to stay on the life of the case. And we do have, again, 30 hours pre-service training, because we want to make sure that we have CASAs that understand what they're doing, and that they always have that support. They are assigned a program coordinator, so they help them throughout the whole time as a life of a CASA. And then opportunities to speak with other current or former CASAs. 12 hours of continuing education annually. We do have a SharePoint site available with volunteer information, templates, training opportunities, and other important resources. Pre-service training, what that includes is case-based learning for better retainment of material, trauma-informed care and child development, cultural humility and bias awareness training woven throughout the entire curriculum, case noting, interviewing skills, court reporting skills, broad range of backgrounds, and then also one-on-one peer support. So the first thing is that you would have to complete an online application. We then schedule an interview with the program coordinator so that you just have a full picture of the program and for us to get to know you better. We do the comprehensive background check, which is the fingerprinting and that criminal background check. Then you would complete the pre-service training, like I mentioned before. And then after you complete the training, you are sworn in. As far as the training goes, it is 30 hours, so it's 10 hours for a week for 3 weeks, and it's all online. We do have about 2 sessions on Google Classroom at the end of the day where you just have discussions, and it's about a couple hours with the program coordinator and a few other people that are going through the training as well. So that I try to go as quick as possible. I know everyone's kind of early and like it's so dry, but what we're doing is really trying to make sure that we have enough process for all the children that are going through the dependency process. Right now, we still have, like I said earlier, about 100 kids without a CASA. A lot of them right now, our cases are infants, and it's just difficult to make sure that they're, get placed in a safe home. And so we just need people who are dedicated to work for and serve these children. So if you guys are interested, if you know anyone that is, please let me know. You can also go on our website and check it out on there as well. We can definitely talk to you a little bit more about it one-on-one if it makes you more comfortable, if you have more questions. Otherwise, yeah, you can register online. But thank you so much for having me. Questions I should ask.
Do you work at all with bridge receiving?
It's one of our resources. So yeah, our CASAs will work with different organizations that work with children through the dependency process. Yeah. Any other questions? All right, thank you so much.
Anybody else have anything to bring up for the good of the club?
So we're gonna need help moving some tables around to shoot it ready before the draw.
That's true. Yeah. Are we gonna have the whole room or just are we just in this room? We're gonna have both sides. Both sides, good. All right. Yeah, that's great. Well, I'll see you. That's it. What signed up for what?
That last spot.
Oh. Well, the word got out. All right, well, meeting adjourned.
So John, so we probably need to take some of the stuff. I don't know if we need to take this. But probably all of the computer stuff. Okay. You want to borrow that for a little bit? My computer?
You know, I think that's necessary. Maybe what I'll do is I'll just set up and bring that.
Okay.
I noticed the personal back there.
Yeah, I'm still trying to get used to this.
I'm gonna.
Having the caseload over there. Shifts everything. So until I get, I'm getting there, but until I get there. And Chris has kind of taught me, I gotta go back and figure it out, but how to